I really want to meet feminists who are in relationships with men, whether that's marriage or dating, because a lot of times, I'm very naive. In my feminism journey, I've always assumed that all the women around me are also feminists. And then when I find out that they're not, I'm just shocked.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I sit on my bed, my couch, and I get as comfortable as I possibly can and give my full opinion on things that I usually don't want to talk about. But talk about because I love doing this. It's my favorite genre. But anyways, guys, as you know, guys, I'm raising money for my farm project, and for those that want to donate, you can donate. There's a PayPal that you can use, and I'm thankful for everybody that has been supporting, donating. I am also thinking about doing a TikTok a video thanking everybody that has donated. You've done good, thank you. And for South Africans that want to donate, just ask for my account in the comments and I'll give it to you. And anyways, guys, do you like the new? I felt the need to not wear a wig today. I just felt like I'm not in the mood. I didn't even do my eyebrows. Like, I didn't do anything. I wanted to be as bare as possible, and I'm feeling weird. But anyways, that's not the conversations. Let's just jump into it, okay? I feel like we settle for misogynistic men. I said it right. Because men also have the tendency of pretending to be what you want. I noticed that also, that they would pretend to be exactly what you want them to be until you get to know them. Or sometimes they believe that they are not as awful as other men. Yeah, they believe that they are not as awful as other men because they do one or two things correctly. For example, if a guy gives you money, he believes that he's doing what another guy wouldn't be able to do. So he falls flat on other attributes that makes a relationship, and they don't come through. They're not what they presented. They are not what they said they are. They are not exactly the people that you will settle with. But by the time that you realize that you're so flatly in love with this person, and you're in love with the idea of what they used to be, and you have this hope in your mind, you're like, probably they would change. But also, what I want to give a warning to is not necessarily my list of. I'm not a feminist, by the way. I'm not a feminist. Feminism does not exist in my language. I wouldn't know what to say a feminist is in my language. But what I can say is a woman who believes in an equality of, well, I don't want to be equal to men. I just want things to just be done right, What I can say is be aware of men who pretend to be what you want, and then they suddenly drop the costume and they become exactly who they are. It's not necessarily the least, because that's not even important at this point. Okay? That's my 2 cents. But let's just go diving in the video and tell me what you think about this look. Do you like the wig better? Do you like the toque better?
I really want to meet feminists who are in relationships with men, whether that's marriage or dating, because a lot of times, I'm very naive. In my feminism journey, I've always assumed that all the women around me are also feminists. And then when I find out that they're not, I'm just shocked. Or when I find out that women are dating men who are openly misogynistic, I get very shocked. But it's like, this isn't shocking. I'm kind of just naive to assume that all women are feminists, so that's my fault. But the reason why I want to meet feminists who are in relationships with men is because I really want to know their perspectives. So many women I know settle for misogynistic men because there's kind of like this narrative that there's no hope, there's no man out there who's doing the work. And I just really want to know, like, what are the non-negotiables? What are those things that, like, what are those red flags, those immediate red flags? Because I feel like I have my list, but I'm just intrigued to hear from women who are more experienced in dating, to hear their experience.
You rang. This is gonna be one of the few videos where I'm not making fun of anybody, because this is a question I actually get all the time. In fact, I got tagged in this video dozens of times. I'd love to give my perspective. Make no mistake though, if you're a terrible man, I will fuck up your day. Don't play with me. For context, as you may or may not know, I've been in a relationship with a man for going on 7 years. Still no ring though. Getting in front of those jokes now from the shithead dude. I don't have a ring because I don't want one right now, but you don't have a bitch because you can't get one. Anyways, moving on to what this beautiful woman asked, which is for the perspective and the non-negotiables of feminist women in relationships with men. I would consider myself a devout intersectional feminist, my man as well. No, I didn't have to convince him to be that. No, I didn't have to talk him into calling himself that. Factory settings, he came that way. As we've gotten older and gotten more educated and stuff, both of us have learned individually and as a couple how to be more inclusive and more cognizant, more empathetic. At his core though, he has never been someone who fucking hates women, and I've never had to convince him not to. So here are some non-negotiables from me. It does matter to me, political party. Who you voted for and what you believe in, your moral fiber, fucking matters to me. I don't fuck with that, like, well, we just don't talk politics. I don't fuck with that shit, bitch. Tell me now, get it over with. I'm not wasting my fucking time. Because if our moral compasses don't point the same direction, we got nothing else to fucking talk about, bitch. Another non-negotiable for me is who he hangs out with and how they talk about women and how he reacts in situations like that. Far too often, I think women date men who have friends who are violently misogynistic or bigoted, and that boyfriend either laughs along with them or doesn't say anything at all. So either that's how you really feel and you just don't want women to know because you want to fuck them, or you're a fucking coward. Either way, get the fuck out my face. Another non-negotiable is when I myself am talking about the violence and oppression of women, the effects that patriarchy has, and I say things like, this is why men fucking ruin everything. How my boyfriend reacts to that statement is also a non-negotiable. Because my boyfriend right now, when I talk shit on men who are fucking horrible, his reaction is this. I know, I get it. It's really fucking awful, I agree with you. Because he knows I'm not talking about him. Because if I was, we wouldn't be fucking dating, would we? Another non-negotiable is how my boyfriend reacts to me and my emotions. One of the stereotypes of misogyny against women is how volatile and overreactive they are with their emotion. And men don't have emotions like that. If you're a man who doesn't give a fuck how you make your girlfriend feel because you're a man, that's not a manly thing. You're just a fucking piece of shit. Emotional intelligence and cognizance is a non-negotiable. Them being willing to work on it and validating your feelings fucking matters. This is also great because I'll be writing a lot about this in my book coming out next year. Anyways, love you, bye.
So she's basically asking women who are feminists and are in relationships with men, what were your non-negotiables when dating them? Because she's right, a lot of feminists will still date misogynistic men because they just think that there's no hope and that all men are kind of misogynistic in their own way. I was so lucky enough that when I met my current boyfriend, soon-to-be fiance, he was just the way he was. He met my needs and criteria instantly. He doesn't have toxic, misogynistic friends. In fact, recently he had a friend that started saying the F slur during video games, and he cut him off instantly. Never cared, never wanted to know about my body count. Does not attribute my worth or my attractiveness to my weight. He's loved me skinnier than I am, he's loved me heavier than I am. I wear what I want, doesn't matter how much cleavage it shows, doesn't matter what it is, he does not care. He cares about all human rights, equality, etc. And he's even agreed to move out of the state or to another country if I feel my rights as a woman are being violated to a point I can't stand in the US. That's why I always say there's guys like this out there. Maybe they're rare, maybe I just got lucky. But yeah, I love him very much.
She goes on to say that she wants to hear the criteria and the non-negotiables from feminists who are in relationships with men. And I feel especially qualified to speak on this because not only do I think my boyfriend is the most perfect man to ever exist, but so do all of my friends and family. Number one, above all else, my boyfriend is pro-choice. Like, that didn't even need to be a discussion or an argument. Like, it's the bare fucking minimum. And that's that. But beyond that, he was entirely raised by women, so he has this like inherent understanding and love and sympathetic nature towards women and their struggles, and I can't even begin to explain how important that is to have in a man. I've never once seen him be disrespectful to women, whether that's his mom or to me or even his ex. I've never heard him say the word crazy or bitch, and that is super, super important to me. I mean, I can go on and on about how incredible I think my boyfriend is, but one of the biggest green flags was that all of his friends and all of the men in his family were just as good as he is. If your man has some questionable friends, it's probably because he shares some sort of similar belief system as them. Like, it is 2023. I can promise you, you do not need to be dating these misogynistic ass bitches.
So that creator goes on to say that she perceives that a lot of women who date men have to settle for a lot of misogyny or patriarchal thinking. And so she's asking feminists who are in relationships with men, what are those red flags? How do you avoid that situation? And until I met my boyfriend, I was really prepared to settle. I really thought, like this creator did, that that's what I was gonna have to do. But so instead of the red flags, I can give you a bunch of the green flags I saw in my partner. First, his default is almost always gender neutral language until he understands from a personal perspective the gender of the person he's talking to or about. His Instagram bio is a link to his sister's business, which is focused on Black maternal health. Cries all the time. Always says women. And this is one of my pet peeves. People will be like, oh, the girls in the office, as though they're children. No, the women in the office. And he always says women. Whenever I've expressed excitement about losing weight, he's been supportive, but he's also been very clear that he does not assign positive value to my body being smaller. In fact, he treats my body like it is the most powerful, beautiful, magical vessel and really encourages me to do the same. He never talks bad about his exes, never. When we first started talking, he started telling me about how he was getting into astrology. And I don't mean that astrology itself is a green flag, but getting into something that so many men shame women for enjoying and then openly telling a woman you just met about that, green flag. Carries my things for me, and not out of like a weird sense of chivalry, but because he doesn't want me to be burdened if I don't have to be. And my comfort is his priority, and it's obvious every single day. He loves women rappers, loves them. He tells me about what happens in his therapy sessions. Of course, not everything, because that's deeply unproductive, but he tells me about the realizations he's proud of or the things that he knows that I can help support him on. And most importantly, he has never acted like he was done. He has never acted like he has gotten rid of all of the misogyny and all of the patriarchy that we were all raised with. He acts like the work is work. He asks questions, and he's constantly trying to get better, and that's the biggest green flag you can see.
Okay, I feel qualified to answer this as a feminist who is engaged to a man who I feel very strongly is worth being married to, and after experiencing dating men who are very openly misogynistic. These are my green flag, red flag guidelines. Number one, most important, he needs to be obsessed with you, and not obsessed with the way that you make him feel or the way that you look, but like obsessed with you as a person, who you are. That is not negotiable. That is necessary. Two, I never really hear anyone say this, but he needs to think that you're funny. Misogynistic men make it like their personality that they don't think women are funny. Women are funny, and your man should think you are hilarious. Three, he's emotionally intelligent. Bonus points if he's an emotional person, like cries, is not afraid of showing emotion. That is huge green flag. Your friends should feel at ease and like comfortable around this man. They should like want him to be around. Of course, not like every time the girls are hanging out, but they should want him to be around. You should get to be a little bit mean to him at some times, and it doesn't faze him, and he doesn't get to be a little bit mean back in the same way, because we live in a patriarchy. It's not the same thing. He should do labor without you having to like consistently nag and like force him to do it. It should be something that like as an adult he can just like clean and cook and help out with things. Red flags, if he refers to women as females, no. If he refers to any exes he has ever had as crazy or psycho, no. Immediately red flag. Probably not true. If he raises his voice at you, red flag. If when you like bring up something that bothered you, or like you're kind of having an issue, if he whatabouts you, like you bring up something that bothered you and he says, what about this? What about this? In a way to like come back at you. Once it starts, it will never end. The what about is a huge red flag. If he does or likes pranks, no matter how trivial and small, no. If he is rude to service workers or homeless people, red flag. If you feel you have to like water down your feminism at all because you're worried about his reaction being negative, red flag. If anything he does compels you to make a pro-con list, no. I used to facilitate these like healthy relationship workshops in college for undergrads, and we would do this activity where you would like put onto paper in quadrants like what you're looking for, the qualities you're looking for in a partner, to like help you navigate. And I've helped like many of my friends break up with partners with this activity. Let me know if you want an example.
If you enjoyed today's video, please click like, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Toodles!